Alright guys, so in this video we're going to take a look at how we can get better footage from your Insta360 GO3 and specifically on FPV drones. I've got the new GO3 specific ND filters. These are actually made by Freewell. They look pretty much the same as the ones that were for the GO2. There's a slight difference in the size of the black ring. I think it's a little bit bigger on the one for the GO3. I'm not sure why, but I'm not sure if it's going to affect the footage after we stabilize it anyway. So we got a super cloud-free sunny day here, and this is a good test for the ND filter. So there's a couple different ways that you can go with settings on how to get good footage. I'll show you sort of the easy way and one that's going to give you a little bit more work, but possibly give you a little bit better results. And we'll show you both flights, and you guys can let me know in the comments which one looks better to you in terms of easy versus a little bit more work. Okay, so for the easy method, you pretty much don't have to do much. You just have to put on an ND filter. We're going to go with a 2.7K 30 with the stabilization at the standard level. So this is pretty much default settings here. I'm going to be on the ultra wide setting. If you prefer the action view, you can go with that. It's kind of subjective which one's better. I prefer ultra. It looks better to me. And then for your settings, I'm going to go with auto. So pretty easy. I'm going to go with the standard color profile. I'm not going to do any color grading at all. I'm going to use automatic white balance. So auto settings is auto ISO, auto shutter, and leaving the EV at 0. So for a super sunny day like today, I'm going to go with the ND32 or the ND64. Kind of depends what kind of look you're going for. If you're going to be mainly only in the sun, no under trees or any kind of shadows or anything like that, I would go the ND64, especially if you're over water with a lot of reflections. ND32 is going to be better if you're going to be going in and out of the sun, especially on the auto settings. The ISO and shutter speed will adjust and will give you a certain kind of look. And well, you let me know which one you think looks better. Okay, so for the second flight, we're going to go with not the normal video mode, we're going to go with free frame video mode. So it's going to get a slight reduction in resolution. It's going to be 1440p, and we're going to stabilize this in gyroflow, which is, I think, what I would go for if you're trying to get the best FPV footage. It's a little bit better in my opinion, but you do have a little bit of loss in resolution at 1440p, so just something to keep in mind. And then we're going to go with manual settings here. So swipe that over, we're going to click manual. We're going to be on the standard color profile. And then since we're at 30 frames per second, we're going to go to 1/160 for the frame rate. I'm going to go with a fixed frame rate, and then I'm going to, for the ISO, instead of a fixed ISO, I am going to go with a max ISO, so it'll fluctuate. So, because I am going to go into some shadow areas under trees, so I'm going to, and it's a very bright day, so I'm going to go with 400 max. So it'll fluctuate between 100 and 400 on the ISO. I think that'll give some pretty good results. Again, let me know down in the comments what you guys think. So you can see here with those settings, we're a bit overexposed. I'll put the ND filter on here in a second. I do want to change one more thing, the white balance, and we're going to go with 5,000. That's going to be good for most people. Some people might prefer a little bit higher, 5,500. So it really depends on what you're looking for. I think 5,000 is going to be pretty good. So this is what I'm going to set mine at, and so we fixed. So you'll see some really different results with these settings versus the first flight. Again, let me know down in the comments which one you prefer. Let's go ahead and put that ND filter on. All right, so this is with the ND32 on, and you see in the sunlight's very bright. But if I go into the shadows here, I don't want to completely destroy my shadow detail. So when flying under the trees, I do want some detail here. So I think ND32 is going to be right. I've done 64, and in these shadows, they are just too dark, and there's not enough detail. But again, it kind of depends on what you're going to go for. I suppose if you go with a flat color profile, you might be able to recover some of those shadow details. And it looks like, yeah, the highlights are kind of blown out, but yeah, really kind of depends on what you're looking for. This is what I prefer. Other people prefer no blown out highlights and completely crushed shadows and no detail in the shadows. So it really kind of depends on the look you're kind of going to go for. If you want that kind of look, then yeah, go with the ND64. Yeah, so what do you think of the two flights? Do you like the easy settings or do you like the second flight better with a little bit more work? Personally, I think the second flight looks better. It's a little bit more work, but I think it's worth it. And it doesn't look like you have much loss in resolution. I'm going to put a link to the gyro flow settings I used, a little video clip that I put in the video description so you can check that out. And don't forget to check the links in the video description if you want to check out the GO3 camera. If you've been on the fence about that, if you like these results, highly recommend the camera. And then, of course, the link to the ND filters, which is going to be really important to get these kind of results. Well, that'll do it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate that. And consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll talk to you guys in the next video.